Many thanks for staying with us here on News Desk. Let's talk politics now. And Pressure Group, Let's My Vote Count Alliance, is calling for the dissolution of a 10-member election steering committee put together by the Electoral Commission to oversee the November 7 poll. Now, the committee, which is supposed to ensure credible polls, was inaugurated last Monday, that's February 8, 2016, with members drawn from various state institutions, including the police service, the military, National Service Secretariat, and the Prison Service. Now, the group in a statement described the composition of members as NDC biased, and they've made quite a number of accusations as well. But let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to David Asante, who's convener for the group. Is joining us live now over the telephone with some thoughts on this. Mr. Asante, good morning. Many thanks for your time here on News Desk.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me, my brother.
Right. So, David, really, what's your problem with this composition? Let My Vote Count Alliance. Obviously, if you let me first find out what your issue is with the composition.
Well, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our viewers, and then also good morning to your good self. The issues are quite simple. We respect the Electoral Commission's constitutional mandate to execute its duties. And we respect the constitutional right that empowers the EC to put together committees. We have not questioned the EC's mandate to put together a committee. Neither have we questioned the integrity or proficiency of the individuals who have been mentioned as members of the panel put together by the EC. But what we are saying is, Electoral Commission, the last time you put together a committee, they went to Alisa Hotel, and after the committee's findings came out, the recommendations therein, which had issues like validation, cleaning the electoral register, and a host of others, which the EC openly endorsed as a working document. How far has the EC worked with those documents in cleaning the voters' register? We woke up one morning, and in the midst of all these complications, the EC has put together another committee on the blind side of all the political parties without even informing IPAC, the platform to establish and inaugurate the committee. Now let's talk about the membership of the committee, where the problem again arises. It would have been fair and proper for the EC to tell the people of Ghana the committee is made up of all political parties. Then we will know it's a political platform, fair representation. But the EC put a known NDC man, party person, Dr. Karl Marx Ahin, former Deputy Director of International Relations at the NPC party headquarters in Adabraka, on an EC committee. Mr. Francis Azumia from Peace Council, who once contested as parliamentary candidate and later pulled out for Booster North constituency. Mr. Joe Whittal, Deputy Shraj boss. These are non-NDC men. Then the EC puts these men on the committee and comes to tell the whole of Ghana.
Okay, so
the EC has composed a neutral and independent committee.
Mr. Santi, let me ask this question. You seem to have problems with this composition, but honestly, every single person who is supposed to be on a panel that's not supposed to be biased anyway will still have affiliations to one party or the other, be it open or a secret. So really, one would say, aren't you going too far? Aren't you stretching this a bit too much?
Yeah, but the point is, if you put these individuals there, and they some way, somehow have passion for a political party they have not openly displayed, we may not have any problem. In any case, the certain Electoral Commission chair, on the day of election, she will vote if she so decides to, and she will vote for one party. We are not too bothered about that because she has not held any party position. Neither has she openly declared her party affiliation. So we can express confidence in her neutrality. But not a man like Dr. Karl Ahin, who has once sat at the party headquarters as Deputy Director of International Affairs. I'm sorry. He can't be an independent arbiter. It's unacceptable.
Let My Vote Count Alliance, what do you intend doing next?
we have brought these issues to the fore for proper discussion. It will further be followed with a written document to the EC. I have seen party ID cards popping up. I have seen parliamentary candidate posters popping out for these individuals whose names we have mentioned. At least it attests to the fact that the EC lied to the people of Ghana about the committee's independence and neutrality. It's a big matter.
So, some are saying that you just want to make a fuss out of nothing, because really, if you were looking at the interest of the elections and the credibility of it in the first place, the first thing you would have done was to write a letter and send it to the EC. But as things stand now, you are yet to do that anyway.
We are a pressure group. The political parties may decide to engage in letter writing. The last time we went on a demonstration, it nearly turned out fatal. A young man lost an eye. There were other casualties. The Electoral Commission's response to Let My Vote Count Alliance was we should stop the unnecessary noise. We have advised ourselves accordingly. This is not a commission we sit comfortably in our rooms and do correspondence with in grammar. We have our own modus operandi. It works for us.
So as things stand now, we shouldn't expect any such thing as in any demonstration or any protest march whatsoever from the Let My Vote Count based on things that happened in the past?
We have not given up. If there is a need for us to hit the street to protest as a civil responsibility or right in safeguarding our democracy through the activities of the EC, we will not hesitate to do so. But as it stands now, we are happy the issues have been brought to the fore for discussion. We will push and push till the committee is finally dissolved, whichever means legitimately at our disposal.
What are you looking for in the new committee that you are hoping will be constituted in the next few days or so?
There is one interesting thing about the creation of the committee. Are you aware the committee terms of reference is just 2 lines to harmonize the activities of the Electoral Commission to make sure there is peace before, during, and after elections? That's their terms of reference. And the EC couldn't do that itself. The commission with 7 commissioners and a chair couldn't execute that, and they needed a committee, and the committee is made up of NPC party members. This is ridiculous.
So in effect, you feel there's no need for such a steering committee in the first place?
Well, we have not questioned the creation of the committee, but we are questioning the composition of the committee. Of course, we do not have any right to meddle in the workings of the EC. That is not what we seek to do. All we are asking is, if the EC falls foul of the law, CI 72 or CI 75, we'll point it out with the legal specs. But what we are talking about is the political infiltration in the EC's dealings. Very suicidal and terrible for our democracy. These are our expectations. The EC must dissolve the committee with immediate effect. And if the EC deems it fit to work with such a committee, the EC has 2 options, plainly known to all of us. Either constitute a purely political committee and give a fair representation to all the political parties, or an absolutely neutral committee where we can point hands at anybody on the panel and say he or she has worked for a political party openly before. There are covert political party dealings. We're not too bothered about that, as long as we have not seen, not party card-bearing members like the ones we have mentioned. That's terrible and unacceptable.
David Asante, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. And David Asante is convener of the Let My Vote Count Alliance. He's been sharing his thoughts on that particular move by the EC, constituting a body, a steering committee to oversee the November 7 polls. Well, they are saying that the EC ought to dissolve that particular committee and set up a new one. They're saying this particular one that has been set up, in fact, it was inaugurated last Monday. They're saying the composition of that committee is really questionable, with a number of people on the committee said to be members of the National Democratic Congress. But let's just stay on this issue. And the opposition New Patriotic Party has also been speaking about it. They've actually described the committee put together by the EC as a bogus one. Mark Menu is campaign director for the NPP.
The Electoral Commission gave us an election 2016 calendar, which details out series of important events that will take place between now and November. And nowhere in that election 2016 calendar is the issue of steering committee inauguration mentioned. So I and the New Patriotic Party do not know anything. We only knew of the inauguration inauguration of the steering committee through Joy FM website, My Joy Online FM. Let me repeat. The Electoral Commission cannot, and I think people would always say they are independent. For me, sovereignty rests with the people of Ghana, this country, that's enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. So they cannot do exclusive election management. Election management is an inclusive thing. It's an inclusive process, and all stakeholders must be included in anything that has effect on the organization of the elections.
Well, the Electoral Commission says that this team, this steering committee, is to help them ensure that we have a credible election on November 7.
You go and pack that committee with known NDC officers, and you don't say anything about it to other members of other political parties. What is the meaning of that?
You say known NDC members. The MPP has issues with the composition of this panel.
Dr. Ahe, I know him very well. He is the Deputy International Relations Officer of the National Democratic Congress. These are things that cast the integrity of the commission in dispute. And let me tell you, the confidence level of the commission itself has been going down from time to time. So it is about time that bold steps were taken, including inclusivity of the organization of elections. So, after, we don't have to debate this issue. But what I'm saying is that it is casting a bad image for the organization of elections in our country. At the end of it all, I can assure you that New Patriotic Party will survive and win the election. Because I know of other countries like Senegal, where Dr. Wade, the former president, in Senegal, it is the Minister of Interior that organizes and supervises elections. In spite of that, Dr. Wade lost. He lost miserably. Because the will of the people is the will of God. And I can tell you, nobody can stand in the way of the will of the people.
Mr. McMahon, you're raising issues with the composition of the panel. Does it mean that the MPP wants the panel reconstituted?
We don't need that panel. We have run elections since 1990. If you talk about security, already the National Election Security Task Force has been inaugurated. And the Regional Task Force has been inaugurated. The NCCE, who are also on that committee, they are doing their own thing of educating the voters on issues. So what is the purpose of the steering committee? When you have a management of election professionals in the Electoral Commission, what are the directors of election, the director of research, the director of monitoring, the director of training, all those directorships under the Electoral Commission, what are they supposed to do? I'm telling you that steering committee is bogus. You make your own inference out of it.
So it should be scrapped?
Bogus.
It should be scrapped?
I am saying it is bogus. If something is bogus, you ask me if it should be scrapped.
And that was campaign director for the opposition New Patriotic Party, Peter McMahon, in an interview there with my colleague Kwache Afe Nyama. And well, you heard him speak there, and he also held such views similar to those we heard from the Let My Vote Count Alliance just a while ago. They are describing that particular committee put together by the Electoral Commission as a bogus one, and one that is not needed for the November 7 polls. You're watching News Desk here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll bring you some business.